We're back for episode 2 of Above the Break on the Ball Institute Network. If you are new to the show, we are a live-streamed Twitch podcast every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/AhanR. I go live with my co-host, Bobby Stanley, who's with me today at Prop Holiday on Twitter. Go give him a follow. We talk about the NBA every week. We talk everything relevant in the league. Bobby and I bet a little bit. We probably make some reference betting on the slate. And after the show, I stay on Twitch, and you get to see me lab the NBA slate for that night. Tuesday is a great night to bet on the NBA usually, so we get to do that. Bobby, how are we doing?
Living the dream, man. I'm actually I'm getting ready to go to Cleveland tomorrow. So I fly out first thing in the morning, going to Cleveland for work, and then I'm going to see Rockets Cavs at 7. So I'm pumped for that. I've never seen Kevin Durant in person, so that one's going to be exciting.
You know, what's crazy is I also have not seen Kevin Durant in person, and he's my favorite non-Heat player of all time. So that's
really cool. I've seen LeBron a bunch. What's up?
And this is a fun year to watch Kevin Durant.
It is. I've always been a Durant fan. He's the same age as me, and like I remember being a senior at high school, and he was like, I went to college and he went to the NBA, and I'm like, oh wow. Or no, he went to college, I went to college, and getting drafted a year later. So we're the same age. So I've always followed his career and admired him just for being that aspect. Yeah. And then we have nothing else in common. Maybe we both love basketball. That's about it.
Dude, one day like Tatum and I are both going to be like 40-year-olds. That's crazy.
But no, I haven't seen a game in Cleveland yet. I've been to Cleveland a couple of times, but not for a game. So I'll probably like bar hop it to the stadium, sit on tick pick to about 15 minutes before tip off. Nick Wright taught me this. Saw Nick Wright at the MSG game in the playoffs. He's like, yeah, dude, I just sit at the bar across from MSG, and then I get my tickets like 10 minutes as I'm walking in. So I'm going to pull that. I'm going to pull the Nick Wright. And hopefully get good seats, because anything in Cleveland has to be cheaper than going to Madison Square Garden. So that's exciting.
Dude, I completely forgot that you like quietly have a connection with Nick Wright from that one time you did meet him. So one day, Nick Wright on our show, we're going to make it happen.
That'd be pretty cool. He was a nice dude. Generally was a nice guy. Bought me and my dad a beer. We bought him one back. He was there with his wife. I didn't bother him. I did comfortably say, I was like, dude, just like, I know who you are. I'm also a LeBron fan. Thank you for all that you do. And that was the conversation. He's like, thank you so much. And that was it. Like, we were cool. And he sat next to me for the next hour and a half. So big props to Nick Wright.
W mans.
Yes. I've prepared a couple questions for us to kick off the show.
Okay.
I know, as far as our game portion, I have some trivia. I got 3 questions I'm going to throw your way, and I'm sure it's going to break into a couple decent conversations. But I'm trying to stump you. That's my goal with these, is to actually stump you.
Dude, when I come at you with my trivia, I'm going to make your life miserable, and that's what the show is about.
All right. Maybe mine aren't going to be that bad. All right, right out of the gate, Han. Who has the highest true shooting percentage in the NBA? Minimum 10 starts. Minimum 10 starts.
So here's the thing. I'm a big fan of true shooting percentage. When I debated Skip Bayless, I threw true shooting percentage in his face, and people were commenting like, this nerd is talking about true shooting percentage. What the hell is that even? I have no idea. I have not looked at a true shooting percentage leaderboard this season yet. I'll throw out just a wild guess just because he set a record last night. I'll throw out Jalen Duren. Happy birthday, Jalen Duren.
You have the right mindset of being, okay, play close to the basket. That would make the most sense. It is rookie center Ryan Kalkbrenner of the Charlotte Hornets, 82.4. I think he started every game this season, I think. But I've been pleasantly surprised watching this kid. I don't know if you caught any Hornets games so far. My compliment of him is probably like the corniest white guy center thing. He doesn't overextend himself. He goes completely vertical when he's contesting shots. He doesn't get himself into foul trouble. He lives with a couple hard baskets, but I like how he played the game. I think he's a piece for Charlotte going forward. And it's cool to see him at top of the league in highest true shooting percentage. Minimum 10 starts. Had to throw that out there.
Dude, Ryan Kalkbrenner is such a character because obviously, like, I honestly should have gotten that. I watch Hornets games solely for Eric Collins sometimes, but I also watch Hornets games this year specifically because I'm often on overs on centers facing Ryan Kalkbrenner as a starter because the system has been that Ryan Kalkbrenner has been a defensive nightmare. And I get to watch Ryan Kalkbrenner and Eric Collins always talk about how he never misses a shot. So I should have got that.
Okay.
The
Not
Hornets,
bad, though. You had the right mindset.
yeah. The Hornets are a fun league pass team. I think like this kind of ties into. I mean, I was throwing out the Jalen Duren guess because I do want to talk about Jalen Duren later in the show. But I think we should transition by going back to my trivia for you, and I have a little more extensive trivia. It's going to be a good segue, though. I mean, I learned how hard my trivia sometimes is when I used to throw trivia at Max for a baseball show, and Max would be like, "What are you doing, Ahan? Like, I'm never going to get this." But I kind of got the hang of it, and I believe in you. Okay, so I think you're gonna do well at this. I'm gonna give you a stat line from a player specific game this season. All you got to do is tell me who put up that stat line, and we'll start what I think is the easiest one. Which player put up 26 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals in a game on the road as a starter with a 71% true shooting? So an efficient 26, 12, and 6 with 2 steals. And I'll say, 26. Don't overthink it. It's the first one.
Victor Wembanyama.
Is not Victor Wembanyama. I would have probably thrown in a 9 blocks or something there. It is Russell Westbrook, who I had to start with Russell Westbrook, the show. He put up 26 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals in a game on the road. I'm not going to tell you the opponent yet. If someone in chat knows which game he did that, they can comment it. I had to start with that because when we talked with Marcellus Howard on the show in the offseason, or rather right before the season started, he was saying Russell Westbrook should be the starter for the Kings if the Kings want to win a few games. And he did well as a starter for a few games. So shout out to Russell Westbrook for actually having some good games and completely outperforming Dennis Schroeder at the very least.
If you enjoy watching Russell Westbrook at this point in his career, he's going to get his kind of farewell tour. Once they ship off everything, once DeRozan and Sabonis and Levine are all gone by the deadline, they're going to need to keep fans in the seats the second half of the season with a bunch of expirings and Russell Westbrook. And they're like, here you go, dude. Here's 30 games. Go nuts. Get as many triple-doubles as you can. You're going to put butts in the seats. We'll see you in China next year. But if you're a fan of that, you're going to get a lot more of that the rest of the season.
I remember Wizards Russell Westbrook being minus odds on FanDuel to be a triple-double like very early in the season, and it kept getting more and more steep. I could envision him being chalked to be a triple-double at some point this season for the Kings. It looks like a chat member is kind of already picking up on the theme. I'm going to move to the next one. Which player put up a 17.6 rebound, 4 assists, 2 stocks outing on the road with the 71% true shooting again in only 26 minutes? Again, it is a starter. It is a veteran. It is someone who you wouldn't expect with this stat line.
A starter, a veteran. Give me the stat line one more time.
17.6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 stocks, only 26 minutes as a starter with the 71% true shooting.
Jesus. Nikola Vucevic?
You're getting a little warmer. It is Draymond Green, and Draymond Green, he against the doubleheader against the Spurs, he had perhaps the worst offensive or at least scoring like 2-game set in the NBA this year. But he does have a 17.6 rebound, 4 assist game on 71% true shooting in only 26 minutes. That also came on the road. And people in chat are guessing like who the opponents are. If you know which team he did that against, go guess it. I'll give you one more stat line, maybe 2 more. I'll give you one more. Which starting role player, he's never been an all-star, had 25 points and 4 steals on 93% true shooting in 26 minutes in a game this season on the road?
He's never been an all-star. You said he's a starter or he's a veteran role player?
He is a role player who starts. You know him very well. He had a great last season, kind of broke out last season in the playoffs. But this year, his team is really, really bad. But he had a 25.4 steal, 93% true shooting in a 26-minute performance on the road.
Oh, Jesus. Wow, you're really stumping that. I mean, I'm not memorizing box scores here, but there is a theme of getting vets. Maybe it's everybody who's picking on the Mavericks. I don't know.
I just wanted your guess.
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson is like the day Klay Thompson drops 25, people are going to be spamming that ticket on Twitter, and it's going to piss me off. So Aaron Nesmith did this, 93% true shooting
God.
on the road, again in only 26 minutes. And if you want to guess his opponent for that, be my guest. But the last one, this may be easier because there was a trio that went 4 for 9 from 3 in 24 minutes, 5 for 10 from 3 in 18 minutes, and 3 for 6 from 3 in 18 minutes, all in the same game. 2 of those came off the bench. Can you guess which trio? You don't have to guess the names. Just tell me what team had a trio to do that. And all 3 of them are role players who you can argue like none of them should ever start a game in the NBA. What team is having role players go 4 for 9, 5 for 10, and 3 for 6?
Chicago.
Yes, Bobby, you got one. So Kevin Huerter went 4 for 9 in 24 minutes. Javon Carter went 5 for 10 in 18 minutes. And Jalen Smith went 3 for 6 from 3 in 18 minutes, all in the same game on the road. And every single performance we talked about today, Westbrook, Draymond, Aaron Nesmith, and the Bulls trio did so in Denver. And so Bobby already knows
such a scumbag.
If people haven't learned by now, I am an asshole. So this is proof of that. So Bobby, it is my honor to ask you the first team on our fraud watch of today, which is our segment today. Are the Denver Nuggets frauds or for real? I know which way you're going. Make your case.
The greatest thing about this, for anyone who's watching, all 9 of you, the stat line that he just pulled up, I wrote down as my rebuttal, not knowing he was going to bring that up. The Nuggets are 10-3. The Bulls shot the piss out of the ball. They went 36% from 3 on 53 attempts last night. Jalen Smith and Javon Carter shot 50% from 3. On the flip side of this, if we take everything he just said away, the Nuggets got 10 points from their bench, which I know makes me look like an ass because I was praising their bench last week. But Christian Braun is out. Peyton Watson ended up starting last night. Take your Nuggets hate completely elsewhere. You're just wishing, your future is into fruition here. No, the Nuggets are not a fraud. They're 10-3. We just finally got the first Cam Johnson game. I think he went like 4 of 9 or something like that. I played 2+ on Cam Johnson. 2+ threes last night was plus money odds. And 3+ was like +2 something. That's going to be gone. We finally got him settled in, but there's a little bit of moving parts. If you consider what Christian Braun, now he's injured, he's out. And then Cam Johnson's just been a shell of himself. I think they said he hurt his bicep, and he finally just returned from injury. So, yes, they're real. They're 10-3, and you just named the hottest game the Bulls are going to play. Thank you for proving my point by bringing that up.
Obviously, like the cherry picking level that I've just put on display is one for the forest. I'm just so good at cherry picking. But all jokes aside, the transition, the point I'm trying to make is not that the Bulls, are the next coming of whatever. I was calling the Bulls the biggest fraud in the NBA when they won 2 games in a row, let alone when they started off as hot as they did. They do have a knack early in the season of finding all these random, like, hot shooting games to beat some really good teams, which is not going to last. And I completely agree with you there. But my point is not that the Nuggets are, not going to make the playoffs or definitely a first round exit. It's not that. It's that it's a display of the fact that I just don't believe in this defense. And last night against the Bulls, maybe an outlier, but I picked some specific performances that you don't expect because it makes my point that the Nuggets' identity to a certain extent these last few years that they've been good was supposed to be like everyone around Jokic can defend. When they had KCP and Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson all on the floor at the same time in the playoffs, like that was arguably the best defensive trio in basketball. But to me, like your statement about the bench last week, like I couldn't disagree more with the fact that I believe in their bench. Like I just don't. I just don't think this bench is any good, even when they're all healthy. Now, the reason I took their under in the regular season and not waiting till the playoffs to fade them is they're so matchup dependent, right? Like I could see them go out to face the Thunder in the playoffs with the Thunder fatiguing themselves early in the season. I could go see Jokic getting his rebuttal and winning that series this year after they almost beat them last year. But people keep bringing up like the Nuggets taking OKC to 7. Nobody brings up the fact that if Russell Westbrook hadn't shot 50% from three in the series against the Clippers, they lose that series in 6 to the Clippers. And it's only because Westbrook bailed them out with some crazy shots. They got that tip and dunk as well, but that to me is less of an outlier than Westbrook shooting 50% in that series. And now they don't even have Westbrook to lead that bench. They have Peyton Watson and Bruce Brown. We're going to have to agree to disagree on the Nuggets right now, but I'm calling the Nuggets frauds, and I'm saying there's no way in hell that they win the West this year. And I still think I have some life on my under on the future, and not because I'm just praying for it. And speaking of like praying for things, I mean, I think it's a good transition to talk about the next team because I also faded them, and now I'm regretting it. The Toronto Raptors are 9-5, and I'm regretting fading them. Are the Toronto Raptors for real, or are they frauds?
You're lucky you're not getting my rebuttal on Denver because I wasn't done there. But the Raptors are my Pacers this year. The Raptors are a dark horse in a weak East, and I caught the like 2 whole quarters of the game yesterday against Charlotte. And I told you I was starting to take notes when I watched the games. I wanted to see things that stood out to me, at least resonated with me, that told me something for the future. 23 seconds left. Brandon Ingram gets the tie game. Ingram gets the ball, goes baseline, gets trapped, gets double team. I'm fully expecting Ingram to pull up a shitty mid-range jumper, and he doesn't. He catches RJ Barrett going down the middle of the paint. Easy assist. They go up 2. Charlotte charges down court, full sprint. Brandon Ingram gets the block at the rim, and then Scotty Barnes, ball goes out of bounds. They get the ball back. Scotty Barnes seals the win with another block. I love Toronto. They don't have they're my indie team in the sense, they're not exact. They don't have a Rick Carlisle at head coach. They have no real true first team all NBA guy. Halliburton was a third team all NBA guy. That's fine. But they have 3 guys averaging 19 points per game or higher. Then you have a slight drop off. You got Pirtle and Mamu, and I really like Mamu. I don't know if you watched him at all. He's been a really welcomed addition. Gives them some floor spacing. 45% from 3 for this guy. He was like sitting on Milwaukee's bench. Before Milwaukee's bench, he was on San Antonio's bench, or vice versa. I watched him at Seton Hall when my buddy coached there. I just like the kid. I like his size and shooting ability. The rookie, Colin Murray-Boyles, 8.5 points per game in 20 minutes. I like this team. I think they're going to be a pain in the ass to play in a 7-game series. They have a couple different guys who could take the last shot at the end of games. The only thing I want to see more from them, and that's probably what you got from my DM earlier, the trade that I proposed, I want another rim protector behind Pirtle. And they would be like a guy I could see going after Daniel Gafford. But like, if you get Gafford, and I think you have like 7 real guys who would suck to play against in a series. I'm all in on Toronto as being like a top 4 team in the East.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say they're frauds just because I took their under before the season started. That's for Denver, right? Like I'm gonna save my hate for Denver. What surprises me most about like the Raptors is like their defense, if you on paper, is not supposed to be good. Like we all expected, like their offense can be clicking, right? Like Emmanuel Quickley, Brandon Ingram especially, right? Like I'm not as big of an RJ fan, but those 2 in particular, like they have like sort of complementary games, and like I don't love the profile of Brandon Ingram who takes that pull up mid range all the time, like you said, but he's not forcing
it. Like exactly. He's fitting in. It's really nice to see, and there's always been talks of like Brandon Ingram, like can he be that guy? He's a 6'10" point forward. He has a mid-range game. The 3 is hit or miss depending on whatever night you get, but he can get to the free throw line. And he really is like a good initiator. I pulled some stats from Indy post All-Star break last year to Toronto this year. Points per game, Indy 6th, Toronto 10th. Defensive net rating, Indy 8th, Raptors 10th. Pace, Indy 9th, Toronto 12th. It's in that same mold of we don't have that guy that's going to put us on a Christmas Day game, but we have 4 or 5 guys, and we're well coached, and we play defense. And any one of the 3 of us can have a 20 to 25 point game, and the others will fill in around it. And I just think it's rare that you have that, at least in some of these teams because of how they're built.
And I don't fully mind the Indy comparison because like I didn't think that I thought Indy's defense would be the end of them like so soon in the playoffs last year. And I was a big believer in their offense, but not a believer at all in their defense. But the point I want to make about Toronto is that they realize that they don't have the great individual defenders across their roster. They don't even have a defender as good as like Neesmith one-on-one. But their scheme has worked to their favor. They've allowed the seventh fewest wide open threes per game. So when you run people off the 3-point line, you force them to get inside. Like you said, like that's where like the Daniel Gafford idea is so good because they have that scheme. If they get a rim protector like Daniel Gafford, that could be a useful addition. So I think their roster as of now, I don't think the Indy comparison is fully fair right now. But if they get that rim protection, I could see them making a run like that. So I'll say frauds with an asterisk because I really still don't like the fact that they don't have individual defenders like Indy did last year. They don't, and I don't think they have an offensive player nearly as playoff proof or playoff proven as either Halliburton or Siakam. But maybe Brandon Ingram can prove me wrong, but I'm going to say frauds. But if they make the Gafford deal that you suggest or something similar, I'll be convinced to change my mind. And I definitely do regret fading them in the regular season because I do like what I'm seeing from their defense. I think it's a good transition to talk about, speaking of rim protection, there's a team that seemingly lists half their starters every night, either out or questionable for most of the day. They had a game last night, and I couldn't believe what I saw last night from them. Are the Detroit Pistons, who are the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Dennis Jenkins, who, by the way, I hadn't even considered to be a part of the rotation at the beginning of the season. Dennis Jenkins said, "We are nasty boys." So are they for real in that? Are they Eastern Conference contenders? Because that's the talks they deserve right now. Are they contenders or are they frauds?
It's such a stark trash between contender and fraud. If by this, I'll say they are frauds. Yeah, they're 3-0 without Cade. It's impressive, and then you see it's against Philly, Indy, and Chicago. They took Washington to overtime. They beat Brooklyn, Memphis, Utah, and Dallas. They're top 4 playoff team, but I think Cade on an off night, which happens, it can happen. We saw it in actually he was just talking about it with Kevin Durant in the interview, where he's like, "Yeah, I was trying to do what the defense gave me, and they didn't give me much, so I kind of just blah blah blah." And it's like, who's the second guy? Is it Ivy, who, okay, he's practicing now? You want to see more of that? I don't think it's a Sore Thompson, even though I think he made a leap. I think his usage is up. He's scoring a little bit more efficiency. He's getting more involved. He's a great defender and transition player. But, like, who's the guy where there's 3 minutes left, we need a bucket? Okay, it's Cade. I'm throwing a double at Cade. Who's making that play? Is it Duren? I wouldn't feel comfortable saying that yet. They really need a consistent bench guy. I thought it was going to be Ron Holland, and in these games, he's kind of laid eggs. The games without Cade, I'm like, all right, cool. This is where I want to see Ron Holland go like for 15 or to 20. It's that LeVert role, and LeVert's not playing. So who's that guy? And I still don't see it. So by definition, they are frauds.
I think what you said about the Raptors having a shot because the East is so open is true. That being said, when I came into this season, I always evaluate teams differently, like between regular season and playoffs. Like going back to the Nuggets point, right? Like I thought load management, are they going to force all their guys to play every night, et cetera, et cetera? I don't like their depth. I'm going to fade them in the regular season, but their playoff floor is really high because they have Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon. Mm-hmm. I viewed this Pistons team as a team that after their little bit of playoff experience last year and how much of a fight they gave the Knicks in what I thought was the most unnecessarily physical series of the playoffs last year. I viewed the Pistons as potentially they kind of slack in the regular season, but in the playoffs, like I trust Cade. I trust like the offensive, that the handoff packages of Jalen Duren and Duncan Robinson. And it sounds weird to say like I trust a team that young so much for a playoff setting, but I just do. And we haven't even addressed the fact that Tobias Harris, like as much as we like to, or I like to make fun of the Tobias Harris over me line from Jimmy Butler, I should be the first person standing in line to make fun of Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris was objectively good for a large portion of their playoff run last season. He hasn't even played much this season. They're load managing for all intents and purposes so that he could be fully healthy for a playoff run. I made fun of Julius Randle last year, thought the Timberwolves couldn't go as far as they did because, Julius Randle is going to give you stinkers, right? And then he didn't. He was outstanding. I kind of see some parallels between Randle last year and perhaps Tobias playing a huge role this year. I think the Pistons are not just for real. I think they are contenders. I think that I would take them over the Knicks in the Eastern Conference right now. I would take them. Everyone's getting excited about the Heat. I'm not taking the Heat even in the Pistons tier right now. Cade is that guy. He's going to have some inefficient nights, but what Jalen Duren was doing last night, it's probably a flash in the pan, but he is 4 for 5 on the season in mid-range jumpers. But the fact that he even is taking a little bit of those, like, that's kind of scary. And 71% in the restricted area, and that's despite like not having Cade Cunningham create for him for a lot of his minutes this season. And he's 58% in the paint. And now they have the Duncan Robinson threat. I think, if we're talking about, like you suggested, a Daniel Gafford trade for the Raptors, I think they should trade Karis LeVert while they're the value is there, because I don't see him playing a role in the playoffs where, like, I trust him to be the lead guard off the bench. But maybe Dennis Jenkins can be that guy. And, people in the chat are saying that Dennis Jenkins has grown on them. Yeah, Dennis Jenkins, has really, really impressed me. I think this Pistons team is so balanced. They're going to eventually run into a juggernaut, and their lack of shooting is going to come back and bite them. Mm-hmm. But you said it. The East is wide open. And I think the Pistons, to say the Pistons are the best team built for the playoffs in the Eastern Conference right now after the Cavs would not be a long shot. I think they're probably the second best team in the East right now. So I'm going to say they're for real.
The Heat fan hating on the Knicks. I thought I'd never see it. All right. We got one more to keep it in your Northeast, my friend. The Philadelphia 76ers. And I'll lob this one to you to kick it off. I've seen stints of the Sixers so far this season. I haven't sat down and watched a full game start to finish. It's tough to really pinpoint where, what you're getting from Embiid. I think Paul George is actually making his debut tonight, if I read correctly. I don't know if that was scratched.
Yesterday.
Yesterday? Okay, yeah, sorry. So Paul George yesterday. I'll give it to you first. I'm curious what you think of this team.
So, again, I'm a cop-out and say there's an asterisk here. Like, here's the thing. I was talking to somebody I know the other day, and they were like, dude, Paul George is coming back tomorrow. Like, we were talking a couple of days ago. Like, what do they even do with him? And I think that kind of summarizes the story of the Sixers right now. To watch Joel Embiid this year on League Pass has been absolute torture, because there was a game against, in Chicago this year where Tyrese Maxey was going absolutely berserk, and he couldn't really miss until the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. He eventually started running out of gas. In the fourth quarter, he started missing a couple of shots. Late shot clock situations, they threw him a couple of grenades, and he airballed a step back. And then you're like, okay, like, Maxey's done his job today. Can someone else make a play? And Adem Bona was the backup center that day, and he was holding the fort, locking down Vucevic. The Bulls got almost nothing at the rim with Bona in the game. Mm-hmm. The Sixers are up 9 with, in the fourth quarter, and that's when Joel Embiid checks in. He proceeds to go 0 for 6 from the field. He's taking fadeaway, one-legged mid-ranges and barely hitting rim. He takes a 3, almost airballs that, turns the ball over unforced because he just dribbles and loses it into someone's leg. And that was so sad to watch because, health problems just suck. We can both attest to that. But Embiid just, like, falling off, so to speak. Like, he's so skilled still. But he's not going to last.
He can't move anymore. It's really sad to watch.
It's very sad to watch. He can't play a full playoff series, let alone be, a top guy in a playoff series anymore. We all know what's going to happen with Paul George. You'll see some flashes in the pan. He can still hoop a little bit, but that's about it. But the reason I think that the Sixers have a route is because in the NBA, anything can happen. I mean, the Luka Doncic trade last year proved it. Any team who has a core this good, if you can find a miracle come your way, and if someone throws a temper tantrum and forces a trade, you can be in contention so easily if you already have a lot of pieces. And the Sixers probably lead the league in pieces among teams that aren't contenders. Maxey is a superstar. VJ Edgecombe, I think he was by far the second best player in the draft. I stand by that take. Stand by the fact that Cooper Flag is the best. Stand by the fact that Edgecombe is a potential stud. I think he can be the third best player on a championship team. But also, I'm an OG Kelly Oubre guy. I'm an OG Quentin Grimes guy. I bet Jared McCain Rookie of the Year because I believed in him that much. That was going to win if he didn't get hurt. Eventually, he'll be healthy. And oh, by the way, I've also been a Trenton Watford stan since he was drafted. And the Sixers continue signing role players that I love, and they continue finding these guys that will contribute to them, for them immediately. I think the Sixers are obviously not contenders this year. I don't know if they can do anything with Paul George and Embiid this year, but they have a chance to do something special next year if they can run into a miracle and somehow get rid of one of those contracts. They're not contenders this year, but their core is for real. So I'm a cop out there and say they're for real very soon.
That's fair. We didn't discuss this. I wrote down the financials because it's exactly what, like, they're going to have to attach assets. Do you think Joel Embiid's going to pick up a $67 million player option in 28-29? Yes, he is. Do you think Paul George in 2 years is going to take a $56 million player option? Yes, he is. So the moment they get rid of these pieces, and unfortunately, they have no picks to attach it to. Next year's pick, I think, goes to OKC. It's top 4 protected. So they hit. Yeah, we could talk about that later. Maxey, has anyone stepped in shit better than Daryl Morey? Because he was getting fired, and now Edgecombe hits. Grimes was just like a throw in, and they got him. McCain, great pickup. They didn't expect what they got out of him. I guarantee you they couldn't have expected that. But they have these atrocious contracts sitting on their books for the next 2 to 3 years and no picks to move them. So their future, I think, is great. And the sooner they get committed to that, the better off they're going to be. But these are albatross contracts with Joel Embiid and Paul George. They're horrific. So I don't know how they get out of it without attaching futures. I just pulled it up. So, 2026, top 4 protected, goes to Oklahoma City. 2027, Sixers have not yet conveyed a first-round pick to Oklahoma City. They will owe their 2027 first-round pick with top 4 protections, I guess, unless they give their 2026. So, they control maybe – oh, no, I'm sorry. And then in 2028, it goes to the Brooklyn Nets, and it's top 8 protected. So they have protections in there, but, I don't know who's going to really want these picks with those contracts. It's going to be pretty ugly. But I like their youth, and Daryl Morey lives to see another day.
And it's exactly why, even though all those horrendous contracts exist, right? The miracle will be somehow doing something with those contracts, but they've already done the hard part for most teams, right? Which is the Nets had so many picks this year, and not a single Nets fan thinks they have a decent future. Yegor Demon has actually shown flashes. He's had some games where I was like, wow, this kid is actually potentially really, really good. And still, no Nets fan is happy because they don't have a current future. They don't have an immediate future. It's non-trivial to find a future, right? The Pelicans for 5 minutes had an amazing future. And then now it's just Trey Murphy, right? So the Sixers have done the hard part, which is finding core players that they can keep around for a long time because they're all young and they're all very good. So maybe I'm hoping they don't find that miracle because I don't want Philly sports teams to succeed. But it's certainly possible.
Fair enough. So you gave me your early trivia before your mini game. I have 2 more trivia-based questions I can throw at you, my friend, before we go into the closing.
I want my lick back. I should have gotten the Ryan Cook runner one. Let's do it.
Well, this one's a friggin' layup compared to the shit you gave me, and I didn't catch on to the last question. All right. There is one guy in the NBA that's top 10 in usage, and he's never been an all-star. Who is it?
I don't. I'm trying to visualize the numbers in my head because I haven't looked up the leaderboards.
But you got an idea who's at the top of the. It's Jokic, it's Luka. Okay, there's 10 guys in there. 9 of them are all-stars. Yep. One of them this year through 12 games is not.
I mean, I got to throw it out there. Is it Norm Powell?
It is not. But kind of the same position. Shaedon Sharpe is 9th in usage ahead of John Morant. I thought that was very interesting to me. Stood out. I'm like, that guy doesn't. There's Waldo. There he is. That doesn't look right.
That is crazy because Denny Avdia is on his team.
Yep. He should be a fun bet tonight for King of the Court if you're doing that. Okay, and this one we can talk into a topic you kind of alluded to when we mentioned OKC. Who has the best record through All-Star break in NBA history?
Which team?
Which team was it? This is in NBA history. Had the best record through the first 52 games up to
Okay.
All-Star break.
And it's a trivia question, so it's not going to be some layup, right? Like a specific Bulls team. Best record through All Star break.
Yeah, from the start of the season to All-Star break, who had the best 50-ish games?
So it's not going to be one of those like random Celtics teams, because why the hell would you ask me that?
It's
Um,
much easier than you think. Don't overthink it.
is it not the 2012-13 Miami Heat?
They were in the top 4. It's the 15-16 Warriors. They were
Okay.
48. They were 48-4. And the
Okay.
reason I bring that up is because OKC is sitting at 14-1.
Okay.
And people are talking about it like they're the 95-96 Bulls, and you're too young to remember it. I barely could remember without the internet. But the 96, 95, 96, 97, those two were like supposedly the best iteration of that whole 6-year dynasty. They went 72-10. The Warriors in the 15-16 season went 73-9. Is 73-9 or 74-8? Is 74-8 on the table for this Oklahoma City Thunder team?
I'm gonna say no, because they have bigger fish to fry. They won the championship last year, and that's despite like not having, like, they didn't have many injury issues like all season long. Then in the playoffs, like, Jalen Williams played through some stuff and drops 40 in a finals game. This year, they're in a state where like they actually need to get these wins. They're needing Shea to like actually put up these ridiculous numbers. And I made a tweet yesterday about the MVP race. Like, Shea's numbers are like kind of berserk to the extent of like, I have a Luka and a Giannis MVP ticket, and I'm like, these are dead, bro. Like, if Shea stays healthy, he has it in the bag. They've been needing so much out of Shea. At some point, they're gonna lose like 2 in a week, and then they're gonna probably wave the white flag on 73-8 because they're, or 73-9, because they're like, we need people healthy. Jalen
Dude, he
Williams.
hasn't played a fourth quarter in like 4 straight games. He just got a free game right there. If you missed 4 fourth quarters, you just got a free game.
That's fair enough, but also like Lou Dort hasn't been healthy. Jalen Williams, like, he's coming back soon, but like, this dude had surgery.
Yeah.
Alex Caruso is currently not healthy, and also like,
They haven't gotten Jalen back yet. He's going to come back. It's like that's the cool thing. That's what makes me think this is on the table, because it's to your point. So just looking, 4 straight games. Shea hasn't played over 30 minutes. He hasn't played over 29 in 2 of the 4. There's 4 straight games. Those are just smoking teams. So then Jalen comes back and it's like, dude, you got to play yourself back into shape. Here's 35 minutes in the ball. We're going to play Shea sparingly. We'll pull him with 6 minutes in the first quarter. And it's like, get your reps up, and he's gonna be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, let's rock. Like, they're so damn good. They're so damn good. And like AJ Mitchell, is that his name? AJ Mitchell. Like, he's six man of the year candidate. Like,
we could
they
do a
just find these guys. Yeah, like Sam Presti just finds these guys. I'm still waiting for Ousmane Dieng to just be a thing, and I'm sure he's waiting in the wings. So I say it's on the table. I'd be curious what odds I get from a book where it's like, will they do better than 73-9? If I got like plus 250 or plus 300, I throw $20 on it. Like, it depends what odds they gave me, but I think it's in the realm of possibility. And seeing them smoke these teams so badly, and seeing Shea just be like, yeah, I get 30 minutes tonight. Like, that's awesome. And then when they go play Houston, yeah, I'm sure he's going to play 35, 36 minutes. That's cool. But just drub the Eastern Conference. Go, when you play Dallas and you play Washington, I'm just going to play 3 quarters tonight, guys. We got this.
Dude, Sam Presti like played 2K in real life and it worked. Like, this is like my childhood dream.
Do you
Like,
know that there's like the first pick overall? It's on the table. Like, the Clippers owe their unprotected first to potentially the NBA champions, and they're the bottom 3 team in the league.
dude,
Like, what do you do?
The Pacers doing all this tanking just for OKC to get the number 1 pick will be funnier than Cooper Flag going to Dallas.
It's gonna be, well, I actually think like that's the Giannis ticket. If they're like, okay, but then you kind of have to balance all these contracts. They, like, Sam Presti's gonna have to be like, okay, I got Jalen, I got Chet, I got SGA. A rookie would be really great for my cap. Give me the top 3. Give me the kid from BYU. Give me the kid from Kansas. Give me Boozer, and I can, for the next 4 years, I can keep this afloat. Or it's like, okay, here's the first pick. I'll take Giannis, and now you have those 3 in Giannis. it's not fair. Like they may have to call Adam Silver and be like, dude, you can't let this happen. I don't know how the ping pong balls work, but they don't get it.
And also, by the way, like, dude, like, how are you supposed to look at this? Like, I can't even stand looking at this anymore. Like, because it's not because I hate OKC. I'm not an OKC hater like most of you on Twitter are. Like, I want my Giannis and Luka ticket to have some life, bro. Like, relax.
I would like to see Luka get one. That would be cool. It'd be good for LA. I don't personally like SGA's game. I don't like. It's like Trae Young, James Harden. I don't like it. It's not interesting to me. I don't like seeing a guy get 10 to 12 free throw shots a game. At least not from the guard position.
And maybe that's another whole ass episode. But
it is. But they're good. I mean, Sam Presti. We've all been kids. If you love sports but you're not good at sports, like physically, like we are, you dream of being a GM. At some point, your dream changes of like, I'm going to be in the NBA. It's like, no, I'm going to run an NBA team. And Sam Presti is doing that at the highest level. So, you want to wrap this one up, my friend? Put a bow on it?
Let's do it. I mean, if any of you have followed like either of our work like before the show started, like you already know that finding role players every day in the NBA to go off is like our thing. We cannot be more like thirsty to like find the role player like every night to potentially be like the star of the night. It's only right. We've talked about stars like all episode. I want to know one role player that you are either witnessing a breakout from or are anticipating a breakout from this season. I'll let you go first.
You hit the nail on the head, but this is the exciting part. Like anybody could sit there and be like, all right, Jalen Brunson, he's going to go over 25.5 points tonight. It's a good matchup, transition, blah, blah, blah. Like anybody and their mother can do that. But when you find that other guy or you think you're ahead of the book or ahead of where this line is, head coaching change with the New Orleans Pelicans. Willie Green out, James Borrego in, former Hornets head coach. I found this little gem based on last night. Jordan Hawkins played 25 minutes last night. Most he's played all season, right? Was it because that was a blowout against Oklahoma City, or is this a guy who's been underutilized in the rotation? And that's what you look for in coaching changes. Coaches have their guys, whether it's a guy they coach at another spot, whether it's someone that mimics their game in real life. They just have their guys. I think Jordan Hawkins is James Borrego's guy. I go back to last season. Borrego coached a game against the Mavericks in the regular season last year. He played 33 minutes and he had 25 points. And I was able to pull up this quote. We will play heavier personnel that leans into pace. We talked about it before, done nothing about it. Jordan Hawkins, if he's playing 20 to 26 minutes a night off the bench, I think we're going to see like 20 and 25-point games from him. It can happen. And we're going to get lines anywhere from 8.5 to 11.5. So it was I think last night he had 11, but for me, it was just, okay, he played 25 minutes. That's his most minutes, and there's a new head coach. This is something here. Maybe Borrego doesn't like Alvarado. Maybe he's like, it's just not for me. I know what he does is cool and spark plug and yada, yada, yada. I like Jordan Hawkins. I like spacing the floor, I like pushing the pace. I like getting to the basket. So I think we're going to see some Jordan Hawkins games that pay off pretty well.
Dude, are you even aware of like in the Discord our Jordan Hawkins like story from a few days ago?
I'm not.
Okay, you're in the Discord, but you're not going to see every single post we make. But I felt like I made so much of a big deal about this. Like the news should have spread by now. I had Jordan Hawkins over 6.5 points a few games ago. And I believe it was against the Blazers, because backup guards against the Blazers have been a thing, off screens, that kind of thing. Like those like microwave scorers off the bench against the Blazers. That's been a thing. That's a system. Jordan Hawkins had 6 points in the first half in 7 minutes. He went 2 for 4 from the field, all threes. I had over 6.5. We needed 10 points for a round robin to hit. Can you guess? You know how many points he scored in the second half. Can you guess how many minutes he played in the second
half? 4.
1. So he checked in at the beginning of the fourth quarter. He literally ran up and down the court for 2 possessions, didn't even touch the ball, and they said, "That's it, you're out of here." So Willie Green,
they fired Willie Green, so that's a pretty good sign.
I've been on the fire Willie Green train for a couple of years because I just don't think he's good at any particular thing. But when that happened, I was just like, if Willie Green's not fired this week, I'm boycotting this sport. So we survive another day. But yeah, like Jordan Hawkins, I feel like he has that Malik Monk-esque scoring ceiling. So I just want to see him get a shot at that. So I love that call. My breakout player, and it's a weird one because I'm approaching it from a completely different angle than you are. It's not someone that we'll even get to bet on for the next few weeks because he's hurt right now. But when a player is hurt and, I start glazing, and then when they do stuff, when they come back and they look great, we want to be ahead of the curve. I'd rather be so ahead of the curve that they're sitting at home right now getting treatment, and I'm talking about them. There's a player right now who is shooting 73% in the restricted area as a forward, but he also gets some minutes at center, a few minutes at small forward, and definitely gets a lot of minutes at small forward given their roster design. He is shooting 40% from left corner threes, 75% on right corner threes, 39% above the break. So just completely all-around good three-point shooter this year. The only thing he's not done well on the offensive side is mid-ranges. Mm-hmm. And defensively, he is in the conversation for best defensive role player in the NBA. And he plays on a team that is one of the best in the NBA, and nobody seems to care. It's Tari Eason. So Tari Eason, he's hurt right now. He is 100% going to be part of the playoff rotation, regularly every single game, as long as he is healthy. Last year, the offensive concerns is why he was getting spotty minutes. The IQ on the offensive side, playmaking is something that Ime Udoka has kind of tried to force on him all off season. Last season, he got yelled at so many times by Ime Udoka just for not making the right cut or not clearing out in time. Kevin Durant yelled at him once a few games ago, clear out, get me the ball early in the shot clock when I have a mismatch, stuff like that, right? But he's so young, he's going to learn. And I think Ime Udoka, you can think what you want about him as a person, but I think he's a perfect head coach for this roster construction, right? And Tari Eason's the guy that's going to benefit from having someone in his ear at all times. He's going to benefit from having Kevin Durant be so close to him. I know they're very close in real life. So Tari Eason is my pick, and not anytime soon because he's out. Healthy recovery, bro. But in the playoffs, if there's going to be a Nesmith who plays like a star in the playoffs when most of the casual world is not expecting it, give me Tari Eason to play that role these playoffs.
No, he's going to be huge for them, and they're going to have a big front court. I mean, they can switch. That's a guy you're going to need to beat the Thunder. If you have a Tari Eason, you can throw him at a couple different directions against Oklahoma City and not have to throw a double team at someone, which is that, if once OKC is playing advantage basketball, you're done. So this is, it's a good piece. It's a good call. He's someone I always try to keep an eye on. I mean, it's as far as betting is concerned, it's really hard to find him pop, but as from a basketball concern, there is no concern. He's someone you want on the floor. Really good at finishing in transition. If the three ball is going down, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
The first Tari Eason 20 ball in the playoffs, I'm a clip for him so hard. All jokes aside, Bobby, fun episode. We got audio to work, and your camera worked. So, we got it done. It's a successful episode.
We're doing the phone going forward. There's not going to be any Ethernet.
Bet. No pun intended. But next week, every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be on twitch.tv/JahanR. And if you want my bets for every night in the NBA, as long as it's not Tuesday, I'm going to stick, with posting the bets in the Discord. That is wap.com/ball-institute. And if you can't come to the streams, watch these shows on YouTube. They're going to get uploaded to YouTube every Wednesday after we film on Tuesday. But for now, we'll see you all in episode 3 of Above the Break.